What's up, my tokers, my jokers, my smokers? It's your man, Chef Rodney here. Oh man, today's episode really needs no introduction, so I'm not going to introduce it. I'm kidding. But my man on the show today, let me put it this way. He's doing an amazing thing for amazing people. That's an understatement. Everybody knows him. You should just hear about the things that he's got coming up. So without any other further ado, y'all, this is the Daily Chronicles coming at your faces.
All right, proceed to smoke weed.
I feel phenomenal. I mean, this is growing as a team, and I've been outside my comfort zone frequently on this project. Didn't go to event school, design, whatever. I don't even know if they have a program for event design at the level that I've been creating this project. Kind of got my hands in all aspects of it. I'm the marketing director, the sales director, the sponsorship director. I sell all the booths. And then I've got a teammate I brought on in about 2009 when medical came about. That's a little bit of the story. It starts out early as a nonprofit. I had no idea where it was going to go or what was going to happen with it. But I never intended it to grow this big. Just wanted a little powwow type thing that all the nonprofits could get together and advocate for legalization. And it's just slowly grown from there. And the significant milestones were medical, and that blew up the fair even bigger because now we had the dispensaries coming in. So I was able to have a little bit more money and do more. And then now the second milestone is with legalization and recreational. That's just changing everything right now, and hopefully for the better. But that's what's happening.
I think that both Hash Bash, in addition to the Monroe Street Fair, have definitely, and I say this being a Michigander, have definitely put Ann Arbor on the map. Among other things that it's done too, I think that it's an amalgamation of things, y'all. I think that, Ann Arbor's done this, and this. And that's put them on the map. I think that that's brilliant. And one of these things being the MSF. I think that you've had some pretty big names pass through there. You've had, what was it? I saw Bizarre, Tommy Chong. You had, that David Arquette. You had jazz guitarist. What was his name?
Legendary blues guitarist Billy Davis, and multi-gold record awarded. Also, Jack Harrer, the godfather of hemp. There's a big story right there in Jack Harrer. Yes, Tommy Chong, and there's been a few others. Some bands that have gone on to greater success after playing at the Monroe Street Fair, not because of the Monroe Street Fair, but just to show the quality of bands that we had. And there's this one, October Babies, and they went on to be more popular in South America. And we had the Mugs from Detroit, just phenomenal blues band. That was just in 2019. So that's one of the things I love is the music and connecting with the artists and being able to bring the artists into the show.
Oh, absolutely.
And in the future, one of the big things coming is the food, Rodney, and I was hoping to talk.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. That's absolutely something we're going to talk about. I just had one quick question. A lot of questions with these things, and I want people to walk away from this having learned something about it if they didn't already know, and that's kind of the goal. But yeah, yes, food. If somebody wanted to come and go to the MSF, the Monroe Street Fair, how would you look at it, like just to light up a joint? Can they just light up anywhere, or what's the protocol?
Well, in Ann Arbor, the university has always been on state property, being the state university. So it falls directly under Michigan's laws. And until those laws changed, the state had a hard stance on smoking cannabis on campus, where the penalty would be the Michigan penalty of 90 days and a $500 fine. That was the max you would face. Whereas if you stepped off the curb and onto the street, the Monroe Street, it's a different law. And it's a civil infraction on the same scale as a parking ticket, where you go in, you pay your fine, $25 or $50, whatever it is. And that's the end of it. Nothing on your record, nothing. So Ann Arbor had created some cannabis laws that were consistent with people's values. That you're not going to throw somebody in the slammer for 5 years or 10 years or 20 for a joint or two.
Prison,
yeah. And that's kind of where that all began. And again, I think that's a whole separate story, is the birth of the Hash Bash and how that all came about. And that'd be fine to talk about at some other time or even now, but that really is a separate story. It's about John Sinclair and the people in 1971, 72, 73, late 60s. And all that. That's a different show.
Absolutely. Oh, and that's something that we should probably try to reach out to John Sinclair himself for and have him kind of sit in on and comment on or tell us. I think that's shit. You want to get it from the horse's mouth? Let's get it. You know what I mean? That's a good idea right there. But at the same time, that 2 for 10, 4 for 20 story. That's definitely a good righteous, kind of fist in the air and a good start of a revolution against, the prohibition of cannabis, and that's the point of it, though. I think the Monroe Street Fair has definitely become more than an institution. I think it's become more iconic over the years. I mean, I say that thinking, you're going to have people going back going, yeah, I was at the very first one and now I'm at each one. It's become this generation's new Woodstock, if you will. Hash Bash is definitely, it's a protest, but where the music and vendors and stuff are is the Monroe Street Fair, and that's my point. These two go together like yin and yang in my mind, and I think that I think you don't give yourself enough credit for doing what you have done, man. You know what I mean, for sure. But at the same time, like, there's so many hats that you're wearing. It's absolutely insane, and you talk about the food. Yeah, there's gonna be food. Oh, there's gonna be food. Food is kind of my thing, man. Whether I'm cooking it, whether I'm eating it, it's about the food, but at the same time, it's not about the food. It's just the one thing that there needs to be. If you got music, you got people, you got cannabis, you got to have food. People are gonna get the munchies and leave. You know what I mean?
It's about part of the experience, definitely. You have all these different ingredients in the fair. Like, I can't just have all dispensaries because they have all the money. I need all these elements in the fair. I need the hemp jewelry dealer. Yep. I need the t-shirt dealer. I need the person selling popcorn, all those little elements in the fair, the ingredients that make that stew delicious. And I'd love to add some of the medicated cooking in the future, as that seems like one of the next evolutionary steps into cannabis festivals.
Oh, I absolutely think it is, and I think that we have to really be careful how we do it. That's what I want to say. There's a lot of people already expecting it to fail. There's a lot of people already like, there's chum in the water now and the sharks are swimming, and that's my point. So everybody's kind of keeping an eye on it because they know it's the next thing coming. They know flour, and everything that, look at what just around flour. Now that's number one. That's not even a question. Without flour, we wouldn't have anything. Then you have concentrates and stuff, but that all comes from flour. That's all into really just flour. That's just flour sales. Number two is edibles. People love edibles. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that we should have called it edibles. We need to come up with something even better, but edibles will work for now. The point is, there's this whole gastronomy behind it. There's this whole, we talk about foraging now. That's just it, y'all. They're already doing it in Europe, and they're setting these restaurants are just popping up, just normal kitchens, and they're becoming institutions. They're becoming places that, people will literally, go on a waiting list for 75 months just to eat there for 2 hours. That is my point. And if the chef says, no, you're being an asshole, today's just not your day, goodbye. That's it. Do you get your money back? I don't know. I guess wait 75 months being an asshole and find out. Point is, I'm not going to do that. Whatever. We're going to create an institution, and so I think that with edibles, if we don't do it the right way, it could blow up in our faces. At the same time, that's very congruent with the whole idea of edibles. If you don't dose it properly, you're probably not going to have a great time. You know what I mean? But speaking of having a great time, we're going to jump into the 5 dubs, y'all. We're going to find out where Charlie came from, how this kind of came to be, and hear a couple of stories about back in the heyday. I know there's some crazy ones we talked about, mentioning on the show. But real quick, we got a new sponsor on the show, y'all. I'm not going to introduce it. I'm going to let Mr. Charlie introduce it when we come back from this message from our new sponsor.
audience.
What's up there, Charlie?
Thank
You were
you.
saying something. Sorry, we couldn't hear you while the commercial was playing. What was that, man?
I'm glad you couldn't hear me because
You're
I
all right.
wasn't prepared, bro.
You're all right.
We're looking to connect Deliciously Dope TV and Monroe Street Fair with our shared audience out there. Both our audiences are dope aficionados, and
Yep.
we have the same audience, and we're both reaching out together to provide quality entertainment experiences for you.
Oh, absolutely, and that's really what it is. And sorry about you not being prepared at all. They say great things happen all at once, and that's kind of what's happened here, y'all. I've met Mr. Charlie kind of a few events here and there, and it's always a huge smile, always a huge energy, and I want to keep that rolling. I want to manifest that. I want to move it forward, and so it just makes sense to kind of help them. They're in my own backyard, you know what I mean? So let's absolutely do it. The point is unity, y'all. We need to come together. If we keep arguing amongst ourselves, it's just going to drive the stigma. It's going to give a path for the stigma to drive down, is really what I'm trying to say. And we're trying to break that. We're trying to shatter records, and cannabis is already doing that, so why not? The Monroe Street Fair is like I said, an institution, and I think that more people need to see that. And I've kind of been asked to kind of film it, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're exactly going to do. And I feel that if I can help this go even 10 more feet in front of me, then I think that I've done my diligence here, and I couldn't be more proud or happier, man, to kind of be a part of this project, man. It's so deep, it really is. It's not just Monroe Street Fair and Deliciously Dope. It's there's what was it, Michigo is coming out like this.
Michigo is the Travel Institute, but as you're saying, like it goes deeper. Some of the satisfactions I've had is when I get there and people are there setting up their blankets on the lawn to mark out their space to watch the show. That tells me, wow, that was a pretty big moment for me. A satisfaction is this is important enough for that group of kids to get here early and put the blanket out so they can hang out, smoke pot, eat their medibles, whatever, and watch the show. And that was hugely satisfying to me. And
absolutely,
yeah. It's the people. It's all about the people. Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. It's very similar to intrinsic value trying to attract the rich out there. They look at it, oh, how much money can I make, and da 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 da. These people set up these towels, and they know that this is going to be a good time. They know that the energy here is going to be that vibe that they want. They don't care about anything else in the world but being on that towel on that moment, or on that blanket in that moment. And that is creating a moment in time for them that's going to supersede anything they could possibly ever endure. So we're at the first dub, man. The first time dub here is all about your first time smoking weed. So, man, tell me, Charlie, what was it like smoking weed for the first time? Did you get high? Like, what happened? Set the stage for it.
Oh, I got really high, and I remember it. It wasn't necessarily at a party. It was with just out of high school, and we had girlfriends over in Eastern Michigan University, and it was their first time on campus in a dorm. Anyway, we were heading out here from Warren to go out to party at Eastern Michigan, and my buddy rips out what he calls a pocket rocket, and I'll try it. So we were super high by the time we got to Eastern Michigan. And this is kind of a trouble story because we were super blasted, and somehow we got pulled over in right in front of the damn dormitory, 7-story dormitory, police, all the lights on. So the whole dormitory out there is looking down at us on the street, right? Look at those assholes, or whatever they were saying. Cops were putting a bong on the roof and shit, spreading our shit, what we had illegal. The beers, 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, the whole campus dormitory. So by the time we got up there, yeah, that was us. So we survived that one, but that was what a way to, have a first joint and end up.
I want to point out that a lot of people have had that exact nightmare You see what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people don't smoke for the first time, because that's how serious the war on drugs was. First and foremost, it is a terrible experience, terrible thing to experience, but that's the point. A lot of anxiety from people, even my age still, they think, even though it's legal, you can buy it at a dispensary and blah, 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 blah. Their point is, well, there's still people locked up for it, and that's very true, and they shouldn't be. But the takeaway from this story is this. He survived. He lived.
I survived. See, I'm the oldest in the family, so there were people in my family that would go, "Don't be a dumbass and smoke a joint driving down the street at the campus." So I didn't think much of it. It's weed. So I used to smoke cigarettes back there, smoked a joint, and somehow we got in trouble being stupid, and I don't recommend that to anybody.
Nope, don't condone it. But at the same time,
at night on a Friday night, rolling in the campus, not giving a shit.
Don't do that.
But anyway, I had a great time. Been smoking weed ever since. Basically, knock on whatever here, have had no trouble whatsoever with weed, and I love weed. Smoke it every day. Quit alcohol with cannabis. Became tobacco free, both tobacco free and alcohol free. I can thank the cannabis directly, and it's been a lifesaver. I'd been in a car accident in 1988, so I benefit from cannabis for both physical aspects, pain, body pain, head pain. So I love cannabis, and I don't see how I could go back to not using cannabis. It's not an addiction thing. I've gone without cannabis in my adult life for periods of 6 months or so. And,
I feel that,
it did make a difference.
I feel that. With that, real quick, I want to add more to your point. Tolerance breaks are a thing, y'all. They're even a thing if you were to actually, properly use pharmaceuticals. We're not putting the eye on pharmaceuticals. I'm just telling you that tolerance breaks are in fact real across the board, even with sugar, y'all. You understand? So let me put it this way. Okay, so dieting. Your dog. You take your dog to the vet. It's fat. The vet goes, okay, reduce what you're feeding it and exercise it. That's the same for human beings, believe it or not, because we're all mammals. Not this Atkins, not this keto, not this, whatever other fad diet. Fuck that shit. Exercise, eat less, smoke weed. That's pretty much it. You're going to notice that, hey, I need to buy new pants. You know what I mean? That's my point. Buy hemp pants. But I love it, man. I love it. That's one hell of a first time dub. Like, we've never heard someone actually, being, searched in the car and stuff. So that right there, that's iconic. But I want people to know that, like, yo, my man Charlie survived that. At the same time, I would not condone any of that. But I do have to say this. If you do get pulled over, there's one thing that you should do. Shut the fuck up. Period. That's exactly what it is. As my man's, Pop Rules at Law, any attorney I've ever talked to, don't say a fucking thing, because if you do, you're incriminating yourself, and that's exactly what they want. Don't do that. So we're going to take a real quick break, hit another message from our sponsors, and then we're going to come back to the favorite dubs. We're going to find out what Mr. Charlie likes to smoke, when, where, and why when we come back. I love the MSF logo, man. I absolutely love that. Like, it's so like, it's eye-catching. It's really what it is. It's just like, dude, I like that. You know what I mean? I guess it's like my OCD sees the rectangled curve that it's on, and then the leaves kind of just touch over it, and you're like, that isn't it? I like that. You know what I mean? I like that. We've made it our way to the second dub, y'all. We're at that favorite dubs session. So the favorite dub sesh is kind of like, okay, we get you smoke cannabis, we know that, but what is your favorite way to consume cannabis and when?
All right, my favorite way to consume cannabis is with roaches. Not this is roach now, but by rolling them. I love to roll a nice joint, the smell. It's all part of a ritual. Getting out the weed, breaking it up, rolling the joint, and I love that part of weed. I love the part of sharing it, and what I like smoking is like a super silver haze, something that's come from that, super upper sativas. Yeah, and I did want to say about my pot experiences. You asked me about my first time smoking. Well, I didn't want to just pick up my first time smoking in Amsterdam or highlight some great, beautiful smoking experiences.
Right.
Hawaii. I've had many beautiful pot smoking experiences, but I had to lead with the one, and that is one of the most memorable because it was one of the most horrible experiences in my life. And so I do have a lot of beautiful pot stories in my life, thank goodness, and they by far make up for, that initial bad experience. But I love smoking tasty pot like anybody else, and I've been fortunate to be to the Cannabis Cup both in Amsterdam in '98 and '99. And I've lived in Hawaii working for an architecture firm in 1986. And I think that was the best buds I ever smoked there was in that tropical zone. On WREF, they asked me, I was reporting on WREF from Amsterdam, the Cannabis Cup. And I told them, this is good buds and everything out there. That was the year White Widow won. And I told them, those Hawaiian buds is just the name Hawaiian as far as I know. They're tropical, born in the the sun, grown in the sun, close to the equator. They got some amount of the volcanic ash. So I'll name it. If you've been to Hawaii, you can pick out that bud as the real two-hit bud. So that's what I'll say. The Hawaiian bud.
You're out, yeah. So it's.
I don't know if you heard me say that. And boom, boom, you're out. That's what I said on WRIF. 2 hits, boom, boom, you're out. They made fun of me.
No, I don't make fun. I laugh because I've had weed like that. I've had weed where I'm like, and I'm just. To me, I didn't look at it that way. I did look at it as I had a very trying day, and like I was waiting for something to take the the weight off my shoulder so I could sleep. You know what I mean? But that's how it is, bro. But you're absolutely right. We've all smoked weed that's boom, boom, you out. You know what I mean? You're done. You're done,
that's
son.
The best weed.
Oh, it is the best, but at the same time, like I think that it attributes to the high CBN content of that actual cannabis. That's neither here nor there. I really want to know though, like cannabis being your all-time go-to, you've been smoking for years. When's your favorite time to smoke, man? Like sativas in the morning, indicas at night. Like, what's the vibe?
That's kind of usual thing, but I smoke. Fine weed for certain occasions, but not all day. I was able to become tobacco free by just switching to weed. And that was something Tommy Chong pushed on me one day when we were driving him all around while he was in town. He was telling me a story about quitting tobacco by just switching to weed, and that he had helped other people. So by pure inspiration, I did it. And all I smoke now is shake. Just shake. I roll these up.
Right.
And anytime I feel like a cigarette, I smoke one of these. Plus, come to find out, the amount of medicine or the potency of these is perfect for me. So, not too whacked out.
Right.
Can't concentrate on my activities or on the phone, things like that. So I'm doing my best here. I am high because I was looking forward to getting on the Rodney show. I have several of these rolled up. I go one at a time. I love the roaches. Y'all know that because the potency is all up in here along the edge of the roach. And I smoke them Cheech and Chong style all the way down to the end. And I have many friends that are growers, and the roach that they throw away is this big. So
I've seen people, I wish I was making this up, man. I'm not a person to do that. But at the same time, like I've seen people like pass around that roach and stuff. They're like, yo, you want this? He's like, yeah, man, I'll take that. And he'll take it and just eat it. I'm like, what? I'm not even joking you. I've seen this kid do this twice. And I was like, I mean, leather chops or not, but like that can't be good for your like, bro, you know what I mean? Like I more power to you. You know what I mean? But and here's what I'm gonna do to further prove my point. I'm gonna get a hold of my homie. He knows who I am. I don't want to call him out just yet. He does live a private life, and that's fine. But at the same time, I'm sure that I could sit down and sesh with him, and he will totally let me record it. So y'all gonna see that. That's what I'm gonna. It's just every single time. But I love it, man. I love the fact that cannabis is able to, still waters run deep, and that's what I'm going to say. Like with the roots of these plants, man, you learn something by growing it. You learn something by smoking it. We don't really care how you get it in you. Just get it in you. That's really what it is. If you want to do tinctures because you can't smoke, I'm an asthmatic. Like if I do a dab that's too big, I got to hit my inhaler. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I have asthma. What do you want? You know what I mean? That's what it is. I can't help that, but smoking weed does help. I'll further my point. Anything high in pinene is really good for asthmatics. If you don't believe me, Google is your best friend. Now, at the end of the day, the period at the end of the sentence, man, as far as your favorite cannabis dubs, a favorite sesh here, I don't think that I need to ask why, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just to tie it all together. Why do you smoke cannabis, man?
I smoke cannabis for those few reasons. I was in that car accident back in 1988. It's a really wicked car accident. I really shouldn't have survived. They used this jaws of life to crank me out and all that. And I don't like to go there that often, but that was something. And I've made a tremendous recovery. And cannabis has helped with the body pain. And cannabis helps to take your mind and focus on certain things. See, maybe cannabis doesn't really alleviate your body pain.
Yes.
But it helps your mind go a different place from the pain, because some people's pain you just can't deaden and get rid of it. You all know that, all our medical people out there. That I'm a medical patient. I always stand behind medical and the medical rights, the patient giver rights, and home grower rights. Just to throw that in, there's a whole nother side story in Michigan. But we got to stand up for patients, caregivers, and our home grow rights. So you asked me why I like smoking weed. So it's to quit the cigarettes, to become alcohol-free or tobacco-free and alcohol-free. I like to say it like that, not quit and quit. Quitting's a different word. I have become alcohol-free and tobacco-free from clearly just switching to cannabis. So that's one of the biggest benefits in my life. And even to this moment, if I feel like a cigarette, I got them rolled right here.
You got your shake joints,
Yep. Now that it's been over 3 years, it's not even a thing. I quit in 2017, so it's really not even a thing. I just like smoking pot.
That's actually right around the time that I quit. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I just like smoking pot now, so I just smoke plenty of pot, and I don't even think about cigarettes or alcohol, and I just have a great time with everybody, and I'm so happy to have met Chef Rodney. And recently we've started to form a group named Michigo, and this is the Michigan Cannabis Industry of Hospitality Growth Organization, and you can find us on michigo.org, and we're looking to connect everybody in the tourism and hospitality space so that we can help define great futures for all cannabis smokers out there and all cannabis businesses that serve them. We need to get together and group and help shape some of the ways these things look, how we consume cannabis in public. If you can consume alcohol in a certain way, I believe we should be able to consume cannabis in a certain or similar way. If you can go to the beer tent at the county fair, we should be able to have a sponsor, Loom or whoever, Gauge, whatever, sponsor the whole tent just like Budweiser would. And that's our little weed tent that we can go in. The bad part about that, and maybe it's going to be a different model like the craft beer model, is in that Model A would be like Budweiser, and we would have like Weed Miser, whatever it is, the big sponsor, and you go in there, you buy your weed. It's usually all Budweiser or whatever the sponsor is, their weed. But you at least have weed at the county fair. So the other model, I'm kind of getting too many details, but all this is copied from the alcohol industry, because that's where it was derived from. It's like marijuana, like alcohol. That was the big pitch. Well, so I want to take that right into that level, marijuana like alcohol, and
I like
and
that,
push
but there's a few nuances that I don't like. If I can add to your point.
Go on.
Well, absolutely. The smell's one thing. So the reason that cannabis is being mirrored off of cigarette, policies and tobacco policies, and alcohol policies, is because that's all we have. You know what I mean? Like that's all we have. Let's face it. Before those became institutionalized, cannabis was around. And used medicinally, recreationally. It was there. Then prohibition happened, and then it was illegal. All the while the government still had patents on it and was still giving it to people. Look up Marinol, Marinol. There you go. Moving on from that, all these people. I've never ever felt like beating someone's ass. Like a couple shots of Irish whiskey like that. Just I don't drink anymore, and I saw that I was a toxic person. So cannabis, definitely saved my life. So very, very, very similar to your story. I think that the one thing that should set apart, these businesses when they do the pop-up tents and things like that, I think that you should be able to BYOB or BYOW if you will, bring your own weed. But at the same time, I see both sides of the fence. I see that it's going to be a huge issue with people throwing stuff over the fence, caregivers to event coordinators and such like that. I think that it's a brilliant idea. I think that if we're really trying to lean towards the medicinal part of this and do it for the caregivers and the patients and things, absolutely. I think that we should definitely let people bring their own medicine. Because let's face it, let's say with me, I have to have strains high in pinene. Well, I'm not going to be able to call that tent and be like, hey, do you guys sell pinene? Well, I you know what I mean? If I bring my own joint to, help myself, that should be accepted as well. You understand?
I believe that's just what it should be.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we're facing, still a different day and age. As public opinion has swayed a lot, we still need to do things to work cannabis. Excuse me, I dropped my joint on the floor. Right. Work cannabis into public. Whereas a perfect example is a DTE music theater. Many may be familiar with the old Pine Knob. And if you haven't seen the article, Loom Cannabis, one of the biggest in the state, they plan on having 50 outlets by the end of the year. Well, they're branding right inside Pine Knob with signage at the entry throughout the facility, and then there's going to be a display area where they have the cannabis under glass in a controlled environment where they can exhibit cannabis. And then in 5 years, that's like the plan. Well, this is going to get the public, a little bit tuned into what's coming. It's like, oh, cannabis isn't a bad thing. Their logo's here next to Amadeo's or whatever
We're
restaurant.
Seeing the billboards, yep.
GM, Loom, restaurant. You see what I'm saying? It's all getting melded in. And in the future, when they're selling a joint for $40, because that's what we got to look forward to consume legally, it's going to be like a $12 beer or a $10 beer, right? You go to Pine Knob or whatever, and it is a Budweiser, and your Budweiser is $8.50 at the very minimum. That's probably 4 years ago. So, you know what I'm saying? The joints,
absolutely.
$20 or $30 a joint.
Oh, the inflation. I mean, how many concerts have you went to and bought a beer for what, $9 and that's on sale, and then they have the specialized cups. They'll have the specialized stuff because that's how they make their money. You go to Disneyland, you're going to get a pizza for $36. You're going to get one slice of it between 4 people. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. However, I think that, like, going back to our point earlier when we were talking about those 2-hit, and done, like 2 hitters and you're done, I think that that's probably one of the reasons as to why that's not, being considered to be able to bring your own weed just yet. I think that we're getting there. I do. And hear me out. I don't like some of the moves that Loom has made. I'll say that personally. I don't think that I could ring that bell any louder. That's all I'm going to say with that. Moving on from that, as long as I can see these institutions, and I say institutions like DTE, also known as Pine Knob, or any kind of other, concert venue, if I see them kind of allow medical and do exactly what Monroe Street Fair is doing, I'm all for it. That's my point. These places need to look to you, my man. Fuck what they doing. Fuck their money. They need to look at what you're doing, because you have this grassroots novelty about you it's never going to go away. And that grassroots novelty is what drives the black market to be the black market. Real talk. No, there's a place for, all colors, and don't get me wrong, but the black market is never left. It's never gone away. If anything, it gets stronger because it makes moves in silence. It's not worried about taxing it. It's not worried about $12 slices. It's worried about, let's give the people what they need, not what they want, what they need. And real talk, I hope it does go, the route of craft beers and wine dinners, and it's socially acceptable. And you know what I think? I think in doing and continuing the epitome of what the MSF is, I think we can do that. I think we can help educate and eradicate the stigma far faster than anything in Nob Hill. You feel me, homie?
I do. And as we work with this Michigo and People Network together, because it is all about the people, the patients, and the medicine. And as we gather together, we're going to figure those types of things out, what the majority thinks, what's the way to go on things like that. Now, bringing it back to the Monroe Street Fair, I mentioned about ingredients, and you have a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Everybody likes something different. This kind of weed, that kind of. So I would always have different dispensaries. Recently, I had a dispensary say, we want to be the only dispensary and sell our stuff. I didn't like that. I told them, no, I'll check with my partner, but no. And actually, they never called back. I was probably shocked what I said. But the Monroe Street Fair is a mixture of everyone, a number of dispensaries, food vendors, jewelry vendors, clothing vendors, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of everything. A tie-dye dealer, not just clothes, but a tie-dye. Sometimes people special in leather. Maybe there'll be a pickle dealer there, and that's all they sell is gourmet pickles that they made in their basement. And that's what I'm looking to step up this year. Yeah,
Pickles
mix it up,
man.
Yeah, mix it up. Well, in fact, my main man did some great pickles at an event I was at recently. It was a surprise addition to the meal there. And
appreciate you.
Pickles are.
Oh, I think we lost him. Did we lose everything? No, here he comes. Loading. No, I guess we lost him. We'll kind of check it out real quick. We're gonna go to a real quick commercial break as we try to figure out what's going on with that. We'll be right back after this message from Monroe Street Fair. Yeah, so apparently his dog unplugged his computer and it kind of died there. It's all good. So I want to talk about the Monroe Street Fair a little bit, y'all. This is kind of, straight up from the website. I want to read something to you guys. Now, it's interesting that we kind of get the opportunity to do this real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to know this. I want you guys to know that this is an outstanding variety show. That's the first and foremost thing that you're going to want to see. It's absolutely free. You literally can just walk up and look at all of these things, not a big deal. Like, please, please, please go and peruse, everything that the Monroe Street Fair has to offer. I think that aside from being a live music and having vending and bringing the community together and celebrating its culture and music and art over the last 17 years, I think it's absolutely brilliant what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's a hullabaloo if I've ever seen one. I've been waiting my entire life to use that word. I lie, but at the same time, I think it's amazing what they're doing there. I really hope that they're able to continue it. I really hope that they're able to make it bigger, and I really hope that Deliciously Dope can do some kind of food there. I think that being able to give back to that community, to give back to just those people doing what they're doing, I think is one of the most amazing things that I'm going to be able to do in my career. And honestly, I wouldn't ask to do anything, less, man. I really enjoy giving back to the community, and I really enjoy, working alongside people like Charlie, and like, all of the other OGs and people in cannabis in Michigan, man. Really, honestly, I think that cannabis is about community, and I do think that it's really, really smart to be able to have that to kind of go back to, and have that kind of strength and that foundation to build upon. I also think that I really hate construction, and these people should be showered with squirt guns full of sugar water. Let's just do that. But hey, it is what it is, man. I kind of want to go back and talk about the being arrested while driving a joint type of thing. We don't condone that. I want to make sure that people are, realize that the reason that we're talking about that is absolutely, because we want people to definitely don't do that. Don't do that. It is a DUI. It is an enhancement. In addition to, there are levels of CBN that are different for everybody that we're not able to test just yet. But fact of the matter is, once the CBN, your body breaks it down or whatever have you, it could be, 2 puffs and you're falling asleep at that point. And we do not want that to happen behind the wheel. That's kind of the emphasized point there. Not to mention, like, maybe don't have a bong in your car. I mean, going to get it from the store is one thing, and taking it home and leaving it there as a centerpiece to smoke from, because that's, the idea behind it. But I think that would be brilliant. If you're able to take a smaller one that's non-glass or something, to where you need to go, that's absolutely fine. But I would suggest potentially a lock and key. I will tell you this. I do have a dab rig that I take everywhere. It's not a rig. It's a what is it? What's it called? Nectar collector. Sorry. Yeah, it's a nectar collector, but I do keep that under lock and key. I lock that. I treat it just like a firearm, if that's one thing. I know people out there are going, did you just compare cannabis to firearms? Here's the thing. I compared the ideology of them. I'm not comparing them. There's 2 different things. You want to point a gun at me, I'm going to stick a fucking flower down the barrel. That's exactly what I'm going to do, man. And the fact of the matter is, if we don't kind of treat this professionally, I don't think that it's going to work in the end. I don't think that we're going to get, the return that we want, the lessons that we want, the what's the word? the future of cannabis that we want. And I think that it's extremely important to be able to do, what we do in cannabis right now. From what I'm understanding, we're just gonna have to jump to a real quick commercial break again, and we should have Charlie back online here in a second. So check out this Monroe Street Fair. For those of you who didn't get to see the first one, here it is again. He's heading back. Technical difficulties, you gotta love them, y'all. I really don't like this construction, but it is what it is. It's what happens when, a company that runs utilities comes through and decides to tear up your neighbor's driveway. There it is. Had to just say something real quick, but that's just it, man. I mean, people gotta work from home. That shit's annoying. There's only so many joints I can get to get that dinging to go away, because it'll create a tinnitus and I hate it. But, as we wait for Charlie, I do want to point out there's a lot of speculation around cannabis right now there it is again, in the state of Michigan. I think that... Oh man, listen, I think that there exists legal and that there exists, illegal, if you will, but the exact opposite there. I think that there exists 2 different colors of cannabis, multitude colors of cannabis, and I think that we should come together as a rainbow. Roy G. Biv this shit instead of, fighting against each other. There he is, man, the legend himself, Charlie is. What's up, man? Sorry about that.
Everyone, sorry about that. I'll tell the quick story. Earlier, My dog was by me here. The couch is right here, and apparently he snagged my power. I had no idea about it draining.
It's all good, my man.
I'm so glad to be back here. And I want to thank you, Rodney, for inviting me and having me on the show. And thank you for everybody out there listening. And please spread the word for Rodney's show. One of the funnest hot shows out there.
I try. I can't get away from the construction noise right now, but it is what it is. It was what it is. Well, let's roll right into it, man. We've reached the pinnacle of the show. This is what people watch the show for. This is the crazy dub sesh. This session right here is all about that one time, man, you were just way too fucking high. I know you've got one hell of a crazy dub from Amsterdam. Am I remembering this correctly?
I've got a few, but we could go with the Amsterdam one since that was the first Medibles experience. We were going to Amsterdam, so the first time I had Medibles was a real brownie, and my buddy was coming from Arizona. We're in the smoke shop business. We connected in Atlanta. He gave me a brownie. You know, it's like a 10-hour flight over to Amsterdam, over the ocean. And boom, I was out for a 10-hour flight. It was the easiest thing to get to Amsterdam. I sat down on the plane, ate that brownie, became mush and melted in the chair. And when we landed, she's like, "Sir, we're here." And I'm like, yeah, Amsterdam, all right. And I felt golden the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So
I love it, man.
Yeah, that's my first time. I was over high, but then if we had a second, my over high nightmare was at the BDT Smoke Shop's Christmas party, where we always have a rip roaring time. There was a cookie there that one of my coworkers made cookies, and it says take half. And so everybody, the typical dosage, take half and see where you're at. Well, there's a smaller cookie on the side that I just took that one instead of the half of one of the other ones. Right. Apparently, this cookie on the side was like the bottom of the barrel or something. Seemed like all the weed was in this cookie because
she didn't stir it right.
And I'm sitting outside in my car smoking. Back when I still smoked cigarettes, so it must have been 5 or 6 years ago. Just smoking cigarettes and trying to manage that buzz. I wasn't able to be around everybody in person. I'm just sitting in my car smoking cigarettes, listening to jams like big time. And then I go back in there really high, but go to my girlfriend, my new girlfriend at the time, Annette, and start to explain to her that I'm really high. I'm going to go try and chill out. And I had just met her. But I'm back in the car chilling out. Last time I went in there, I'm like, "Babe, I can't drive." And I gave her my keys. I was so high. I enjoyed it. But it was like being on a train and you couldn't get off. And it was fun, but I couldn't stop it. You know how weed, you could toke down, be super high, but when you got to get straight real quick, at least I can do that. I can be in the present a lot quicker than on Medibles. I guess
that's an interesting little fact. Sorry, try to keep the mic from beeping, but it is what it is. So that's an interesting fact because adrenaline definitely helps you shake that. And we can control our adrenaline levels just by like you said, shaking out of it, kind of going, "Oh shit, I gotta wake up," if you will. Very possible. Dude, that's a crazy ass story. Like, I don't know if I've eaten edibles and flown on planes and stuff, but it wasn't across the ocean like that. It was kind of just, we're going to go down to Florida or whatever have you, just, usually, and with all due respect to the people that I went there for, but it was for a funeral, you know what I mean? And it's never fun to do that and have that mindset and that energy and stuff, but edibles definitely helped. I think that's one hell of a crazy dub, man. I don't think that the asking why is necessary. I mean, if you're flying on your way to Amsterdam and you pop an edible, it only makes sense. And if you got that little bastard, that's definitely what you want there, I think that's one hell of a story. How long ago was this?
The Amsterdam show, I was twice in Amsterdam, I think it was 98 and 99. I went both years to the High Times Cannabis Cup. And they had great weed there, It was great to walk in the cannabis lounge, and the Milk Wag was one, Grasshopper was another great one, Bulldog. Well, anyway, there's a bunch of them. I recommend Amsterdam. for anyone. I'm sorry I'm getting off track with the story. That goes back to the travel thing. It's like the biggest pot travel destination for years, and now Amsterdam wants to shift. They want to push their adult use businesses out on the perimeter, because right now they're right downtown and anywhere, and the sex business is literally right next to the old church, and they want to push all that out because they don't want. They say the sex tourists feed off the tourism, off the pot. Basically, the pot tourism brings elements to the city, undesirable elements. So they're trying to eliminate that kind of tourism. The pot tourism, push it out on the outside, see if less people come. So that's what's going on at the historical pot attraction of the world.
You know, and I think as iconic as Amsterdam has become, I think that it, sadly enough, I think it's just the tourism itself. You know, I don't think it's cannabis's fault per se, but at the same time, I mean, when in Amsterdam, I guess, I don't know, there's a movie about it, a few of them, but I think that it's smart that they're pushing it out instead of just canceling it. You know what I mean?
It's got to be responsive to the people. Like, the people just, it's too much now, you know? So
absolutely, we're not trying to kill any kind of heritage or anything there. You know what I mean? So, dude, we're gonna take a real quick commercial break and play your favorite Monroe Street commercial, and then when we come back, we're gonna talk about the planned dubs. We're gonna find out who you've already smoked with, but who you want to smoke with, when, where, and why. When we come back for the last dub. That's the Monroe Street Fair, y'all. It's more than an art fair. It is an absolute, like, institution at this point. My man, we made it all the way to the planned dubs. That's the last sesh of the show. This is all about, like, what we can expect from you henceforth on. We know where you came from. We know what you're doing. We know everything up until you wake up tomorrow. So, man, normally I would ask, you know, alive or dead, who would you smoke with? You smoked with a lot of people, though. Who has been your favorite?
That's an interesting question. I think Tommy Chong, because he's always on. He is Tommy Chong. Like, when he's telling you a story, it's got a certain element of funniness to it. He's not trying to tell jokes. He's just very conversative, and he tells some great stories, because imagine the life that man's been through. So Tommy Chong has been the funnest to smoke with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you know, I've heard stories of, you know, Jack Herrera, Tommy Chong. I've heard all of these stories. I want to know, man, alive or dead, though, aside, you know, from Tommy Chong, you know, that amazing man himself, who's a person you would smoke with, though, and why?
Oh, that's a pretty deep question. I'd love to smoke with a past friend or a few past friends that have passed on. Wouldn't that be just a treat if you could get together? Yeah. You said past or dead. Just a number of them come to my mind, from pot warriors to pot stars that I'd love to smoke with. But current days, well, you had me sitting there during a commercial. A bunch of them ran through my mind from, wow, wouldn't it be grand to smoke with the Pope, or at least smoke and talk with him? You know, maybe he doesn't hit it, but that would be great.
He probably wouldn't hit it. He'd probably, like, hotbox his little Pope mobile or some shit.
I can't imagine him being against it, actually. The Pope. You know, Willie Nelson went through my mind. Like, what could we learn from Willie Nelson? And wouldn't we love to tell Willie Nelson about Michigan if he doesn't know all about Michigan yet?
I'm sure he does.
And I'll say it would be. I wanted to say my dad, because he was never for pot. He died a few years ago, but that would be nice to be able to smoke a joint and say, Dad, you know, what's this, what's that, and why this, why that, or whatever it may be. So there were a lot that went through my mind. Like, wouldn't it be far out to smoke with Elon Musk and these guys about going in outer space now? You know, the theme is coming to me right now. Like, I want to smoke with people pretty much where I'm going to say, WTF. Tell me about it. What the fuck's going on? Because sometimes I like to hear what's going on because I like to help solve problems. Right. And not, like you said earlier, not all these fights and stuff. We're joining in happiness and positive to move things forward. And
that's the most pragmatic way you can look at life. And I think that you know, with this pragmatic vibe, I think that it comes with a certain you know, life with less promiscuity that would lead to prosper, you know. And I think that it's definitely a way of life, man. It's definitely like a way of healing. It's definitely a way to like change your life and get out of your comfort zone a little bit and you know, help with the proverbial problems that everybody has from their past, you know. And I think that it's very smart that we have different ways to incorporate this. I think that it's going the way that it's supposed to go, and it couldn't go any other way. I also think that, bro, regardless of whether you're doing this for 17 years and hash bash for, you know, what was it, 50 this year, you know, combined, that's a lot of time. But at the same time, yo, we haven't even started this shit. This is just everybody showing up to the race. So obviously Hash Bash is going to be there, and the people involved with that, you know, the OGs, and obviously, you know, Monroe Street's going to be there. That's my point. These are institutions. These put Ann Arbor on the map. These put Michigan on the map, if you will. They're going to be there. And then you've got all of these other people that are showing up, like, okay, as you say, Loom Cannabis, whether, you know, they rolled in on their own tires or not. But, you know, you've got all these other people like Michigo and like iChat, you know, and like, you know, you got Jazz Cabbage Cafe, you've got Redemption, the Redemption Foundation, you've got all these great, you know, institutions cannabis-wise that are just starting to kind of show up and gain some momentum. And I think that in the next 5 years, and we look back in this moment, we're going to be like, dude, that moment wasn't shit. What are we talking about? You know, there's so many bigger and better things that we're going to move on to that, honestly, man, I'm excited to partner up with you in doing. You know, I want to show people that view through my lens a little bit. You know, I want to, it's not about being, you know, there. That's the thing. But I want people across the world to be able to see what I'm seeing, and if I can see it and show it to them through that lens, I'm gonna do it, man. You know, and that's the idea. And I think that, you know, hot take. Travel travel and learn things about culture, because you're going to learn how small we really are on this planet, but at the same time how connected we are. And that is the point of it, man. Whether it be from passing the joint virtually to you know, smoking right next to each other, the fact is we're all connected, and that's the important part and the important hot take and takeaway here, man. I got to be honest with you, brother, like, you've done some iconic shit. I still don't think that you're doing yourself any you know, you're doing yourself injustice by like not really flexing what you've done. I mean, you've smoked with Tommy Chong, you've smoked with Jack Herrera, you've been to his house, you know, you've done these things that are, some would say, iconic, you know, but you're so humbled by it because of the notion, my man. And I think that that's probably, the world could learn something from that. I don't even think that. I know that for a fact. And if I could only be like a 16th of the person that you're being, and I bring that to the table, then dude, I'm a saint, man. Fuck a pope. I'll be a saint. That's where I want to last, you know. And I kind of do hope that we can get into some good trouble, if you will, here and there, my man, and kind of you know, hotbox the Pope mobile and get him all jacked up on some Jesus OG or some shit. You know what I mean? I'm down with that, my man. I'm down with that.
Maybe it's that never-ending approval I'm working for, dude. It's like I'm like, I just want to make people happy, and like,
right.
I like approval. Like, I see smiles, that's like approval. Like, I see, you know, about the people sitting down. So like, if I got the Popes, like, yeah, man, stay on track, do what you're doing. I guess that would satisfy me that I'm doing the right thing. But anyway, that is humble. I do feel like I'm on the right thing. You know, we all have our inspirations, and Jack Herrera was a big inspiration, and so was John Sinclair, who I didn't mention and talk much about, but he's always been a part of the show. And yeah, So thank you for the nice,
Absolutely.
kind words. And
Dude,
and
I wouldn't have been
done
able to
some
say them if you didn't do it. You know what I'm saying, man? I wouldn't have been able to do it if you didn't. You know, that's my point. You make these things possible, and for that, dude, I think that you're very undervalued and underappreciated. But that's going to change because let's face it, bro. I'm not going to let that happen. It's an institution. Deliciously Dope is absolutely going to help you back and do everything that you want to do. I even appreciate you thinking of us. It's an honor to be able to pick up a camera and kind of point it at things and you know and show the world, man. That's the idea, and we're gonna all heal through this. I can't thank you enough for being on the show today, dude. It's been an absolute honor, a privilege. I honestly look forward to anything that the Monroe Street Fair has to offer, y'all. MonroeStreetFair.com. Hit them up. Go do it. I'll see y'all there. Charlie, dude, seriously, thank you for coming on the show, my man. I appreciate you so much, y'all. To my tokers, my jokers, my smokers, and to my man, Charlie, Monroe Street Fair, y'all. Let's hit it up. I'm Chef Rodney. I'll catch you on the flip. Take it easy. Take it sleazy. Either way, just stay breezy, y'all. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound. Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Tell me, how has cannabis impacted your life?
Now, this is something I've been asked a few times now. The answer is simple. It gave me my life back. Over the years of putting a flame to a pan or mincing onions, I've learned that state of mind is a powerful thing. Far too often do we let things like anxiety and depression take the wheel and steer us. The use of cannabis has taught me the importance of self-care, which has allowed me to take a step back, observe, deduce, and calculate my feelings and emotions. This has helped me in so many ways in and out of the kitchen. That I believe in this so much, I've decided to change my life and help erase the stigma behind the devil's lettuce. This is where I choose to tell my story with flavors and terpenes. Only this is where I add my own flavor, a flavor that can help people heal as I did, cannabis. So grab a joint, light it up, and come with me as I embark on this journey. This is Deliciously Dope, a journey into the world of culinary cannabis.
Known for two things in my short and illustrious career I've had so far. That's being a skid and doing meth. On Letterkenny, of course. I've done it all in the background. Moving, dancing, drinking, not talking. Now I think I'm ready to get out of that background with the new voice box I got from Walmart. Works great from the background all the way to the foreground of film. Let's go. Here's some of my acting emotions that I think I was talking to you about earlier. Here's me happy. So what's this joyous news I hear? Oh, grandma's not responding. Oh, well, you better cash in on that insurance policy. Here's me angry. Jordan took a bite out of it. I can't just take this beef, cut it, take the extractor remains from your word hole, and then sell it to a new customer. Now, can I? Here's me sad. Ketchup on the burger. What in the name of Poseidon's boots are you talking about? This is an audition for a taxi cab. For burgers and ketchup. Next. Here's me after a month-long drug, booze, and burrito binge. I'm a character actor, meaning I play characters on movies and TV shows, probably. So if I put two and two together, it's not five, meaning I can be a character actor. So the next time you need a hobo, spare change for old Albert, sir. A drug dealer. Hey Holmes, I got that Jaja from Lake Titicaca. Or a serial killer for your next unionized gig. I'm gonna be your serial killer today. I stabbed it. It hasn't come out yet. Where am I supposed to look? Call me up and I'll kill the performance. Get it? Serial killer? Never mind. Yeah, just call me for the next video production or you know your next production there, bud. All right.
What the fuck are you doing in my house? What is going? Where did you get in here?
You won't be disappointed.
How are you here?
This is not my
Get out!
Gotta go. Bye.
Yeah, dear Patrick, please pay by this or break your legs by the 30th. Oh, hey, you made it to the back of the video. That is awesome. So make sure to like it, subscribe to it, so you stay chained to it. Now, I'm gonna go pay off some debt that I don't know, or my legs get broken. It's like the paper. You can...
Yeah, hello?
Greetings,
Where is he?
We can have him like you said, and then we just drop him.
Well, he's a star of our new review line, and I need him here, so...
No, you're a fucking important.
Hey, never mind, Paul. I found him. He's here. Making a bunch of racket.
My name is Paul. 1997.
Hello, Mr. Flynn.
Fuck is Mr. Finn? You fucking assaulted me? Huh?
No, Albert.
Well, fucking ain't no goodbye to you too, Phil, dick. How the fuck did I get here?
I don't know why I'm holding this. Funny story about that. Production van came, kidnapped you, because you never want to fucking cooperate every time we have to make a video, because I own you, right? So let's get this review on the line and get this train wreck fucking moving, okay? Get to it.
Where's my fucking shoes?
Well, there's a hot turkey sandwich in it for you if you shut the fuck up and just do what I tell you to review.
I don't know how to renew shit for you, fucking little shit bitch. No, you go fucking take a shit, you bitch.
You'll get food.
Oh, why didn't you tell Albert Flynn or that? Man, I'll do some turkey. I need food, I'm hungry.
You gotta review this wine. I can see you already have a bottle of liquor with you, but I need your judgment for this.
Fuck you got a wizard or something? You're a fucking leprechaun.
Yes, Al.
Wallaroo? Is this a bottle of fucking water?
No, Albert. No.
Yeah. You want my thoughts on Wallaroo Trail?
Yes, Al.
Wine? This fucking cunt. You want me to Shires? I don't know that guy in jail. Blend vines from Australia, Canada.
I don't know why they picked him up. They said he was only 6 out of 10 drunk. I don't know why he's being like this. He's just going on and on.
Here's a little story of Wallaroo. Halfway between Wallaroo and a kangaroo is often found in vineyards of Austria. The Austrians have a kangaroo. Stop, baby.
It's Australia, Al. Just so you know.
Probably gonna try it out, maybe though. I fucking hate wine.
Just drink it and tell us what you freaking think, man.
Read the rest though. We're gonna have a little taste. We'll smell it. For old Albert Flynn.
How can this guy drink liquor and wine all at once? What's he doing?
Not bad actually. Premium. Hello, swick. Hello. Shut the fuck up.
That's not for me. I don't know why. Well, that went way better than I expected. And like, oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, Al, Albert!
Greetings, Fly.
Yeah, Paula?
It's Paul.
Al's out again.
I'm busy, Gabe.
I don't fucking care about that. Get Big Steve. He's the only guy that can pick him up.
Big Steve's
Or
not-
get another fucking person for me so I can lift him up and get him the fuck out of here, please. We'll throw him back out on the street. We'll hook up with him again.
Everyone's on lunch. Can you just grab me?
Oh my god, just get Big Steve here now. He's the only guy who
I need
lives by himself.
respect.
Bye. Fucking PAs. Fuck's sakes.
You know what's the promotion in my beard? Well, you gotta get somewhere, little world. You need fruit.